Did you catch the latest drama at Tottenham Hotspur? Ange Postecoglou's future is in trouble after the 2-0 match against Manchester City on May 15, 2024. In his heated post-match interview, Ange expressed his frustration about his team's inconsistency. With more losses and a squad full of injuries, the big question is, will Ange be fired or will he resign? Stick around as we explore the tensions at Spurs and what's next for their coach. The drama at Tottenham Hotspur is reaching fever pitch. After a crushing defeat to Liverpool, Ange Postecoglou was seen making heated gestures towards unhappy Spurs fans. This sparked outrage, with supporters branding him arrogant and questioning his sanity. Postecoglou then featured in a spiky interview following the nail-biting 2-0 match against Manchester City, further fanning the flames. He openly criticised the team and hinted at deeper issues both inside and outside the club. As rumours swirl about his potential firing or resignation, Spurs' future hangs in the balance. So, what's next for Postecoglou? Let's get to the roots of it. But before diving into the drama, let's chat about the man, myth and legend, Big Ange. Picture a young boy from Melbourne kicking off his career at South Melbourne Hellas. He quickly owned the field, captaining the team to 2 NSL championships and earning 4 caps for Australia. But a knee injury cut his playing days short. Did that stop him? Not a chance. He jumped straight into coaching, leading South Melbourne through back-to-back titles. Ange's career then skyrocketed. He managed Brisbane Roar to A-League glory and led the Australian national team to win the 2015 AFC Asian Cup. His journey didn't stop there. He took Yokohama F. Marinos to their first J1 League title in 15 years in 2019. Celtic came calling next, and Ange delivered, leading them to 3 trophies in the 2022-23 season with his thrilling attacking style. On the 6th of June 2023, he landed at Tottenham Hotspur, ready to revive the club after a wild ride of managerial changes. With his fast attacking style and talent for developing players, the 57-year-old was appointed to fill the void left by Antonio Conte, who departed the club through mutual agreement in late March. But with a start so promising, where did it all go wrong for Big Ange? Let's talk about Ange Postecoglou and the wild ride he's had with Tottenham Hotspur. This guy came in hot, making waves and setting records, but 3 defeats in a row at the end of 2023 got everyone wondering if the honeymoon is over. Let's rewind to the beginning. Ange, the Aussie maestro, took over Spurs and absolutely smashed it. He collected more points in his first 10 Premier League games than any other manager in history. That's right, 26 points, undefeated, and a hat-trick of Manager of the Month awards. It was Spurs' best ever start in the Premier League and they were flying high at the top. But then, reality hit. Tottenham lost to Chelsea, Wolves and Aston Villa, and suddenly everyone was scratching their heads. Did Ange's luck run out? Then there was the Chelsea game. 6th of November 2023 was a disaster for Big Ange. Spurs were down to 9 men after Christian Romero and Destiny Udogie were sent off. If that wasn't enough, James Maddison and Mickey van der Ven got injured. Chelsea took full advantage, scoring 4 goals and leaving Ange with a lot to think about. And then there's the squad problem. Losing Harry Kane was a big blow, but injuries showed how thin Tottenham's bench is. It felt like a bad dream. Spurs kept giving up goals late in the game. 7 out of their 17 goals last season came after the 90th minute. Do you remember the Aston Villa game? That was another heartbreaker. Spurs played great in the first half, but Pau Torres tied the game in the 7th minute of stoppage time, and Ollie Watkins scored the winning goal. With a disappointing end to the 2022-23 season, Ange's future was like a candle flickering in the wind. So, what recently added fuel to this already fiery situation? After those 3 gut-wrenching defeats during the 2022-2023 season, the rumour mill started spinning some juicy stuff. Ange Postecoglou, the saviour who had Tottenham fans dreaming of glory, suddenly found himself at the centre of sack speculation. Former Tottenham striker Louis Saha stepped in and made an announcement. This guy straight up predicted Ange could be the first manager to get the boot. He pointed out that Ange could find himself under pressure. The 2024 season was no better. The game on May 6th at Anfield was a particularly low point for Tottenham. They arrived with Champions League hopes, but Liverpool handed them a harsh reality check with a crushing 4-2 defeat. Mohamed Salah and Andy Robertson from the Reds scored in the first half, with Cody Gakpo and Harvey Elliott adding 2 more after the break. Spurs' comeback fell short, leaving them 7 points behind 4th place Aston Villa. So the final whistle blows at Anfield and Spurs walk off with a 4-2 defeat. What does Ange do? He heads straight to the travelling Spurs fans, clapping and pointing at one fan in particular. Maybe the fan was voicing their frustration and Ange was hinting at the need for patience. After the game, Ange didn't hold back. He called the performance disappointing and said his team lacked a real cutting edge. He wasn't sugarcoating it. Spurs needed to improve quickly. Then there were comments threatening that Ange would get sacked because of his arrogance. The Spurs faithful didn't hold back. Nigerian filmmaker Imo Omarin criticised Ange's stubborn tactics, saying if Ange doesn't learn to adapt, he will be fired. Omarin even called his arrogance like that of a child. So, what does Postecoglou's future at the club look like, with tensions stirring up? Let's dive into the drama that unfolded after Tottenham Hotspur's clash with Manchester City on May 14, 2024. A tense night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and Ange Postecoglou was not having it. So, Spurs lost 2-0 to City, but what really got under Ange's skin wasn't just the defeat, it was the vibe. Spurs' fans were acting a bit peculiar. In fact, many were rooting for their own team to lose. Why was that? Because a Spurs win would have helped their arch-rivals Arsenal in the title race. On game night, it was like stepping into the twilight zone. Fans were booing their own team whenever they attacked, making the scene awkward. During the game, Ange was caught on camera yelling at a fan behind the dugout who used some colourful language. Ange said that he was watching the fan, almost threatening him and catching public attention. The fan was quickly booted from the stadium, but the damage had been done. Ange, being the passionate guy he is, couldn't wrap his head around this. In the press conference leading up to the game, he made it clear he doesn't care about bragging rights or the rivalry with Arsenal. Heartbroken, he called the Man City game his worst experience as a manager and admitted that he misjudged the Tottenham fan base. And it wasn't just the fans. Rumour has it that some Spurs staff were joking about losing to City. One even suggested playing the youth team, making fun of the team's expertise. Post-match, Ange dropped a bombshell in the press conference, saying the team's foundations were fairly fragile. He didn't spill all the tea, but hinted that the last 48 hours had been revealing, subtly exposing the traitors in the club's staff. Now, how did the fans take this? It was a mixed bag. Some understood Ange's point about needing unwavering support. Others felt he just didn't get the deep-rooted rivalry with Arsenal. First, the match itself, then the club stuff, but it didn't stop there. The fans even planned an open-top bus parade to celebrate their team's loss. Not for winning a trophy, but for crushing Arsenal's title hopes. Ange was left frustrated. News of the bus parade was the last lick for Ange. He stated his plans to quit and go back to Celtic. At Celtic, at least he knew the fans would never put rivalries above their own team's success. Ange was already struggling with recent results, but this was the cherry on top of a very sour cake. So, will Ange Postecoglou be sacked due to his team's constant poor performances? Or will he resign because of his fans' and staff's heartbreaking reaction? It's a tough call. On one hand, the string of defeats, including the 2-0 loss to Manchester City and the earlier drubbing by Liverpool, has undoubtedly jeopardised his position. Fans and pundits are questioning his tactics and ability to adapt, making a sacking seem inevitable if results don't improve. On the other hand, Ange is frustrated with the culture at Spurs. Fans rooting against their own team, staff joking about losing games, and the silly DVD and bus parade for hurting Arsenal's title hopes have left him upset. This clash with the team's culture might make him resign and look for a more supportive place, like Celtic. Ultimately, Ange's future at Tottenham looks incredibly uncertain, whether it's a club decision or his own. If you enjoyed watching this video, please like and subscribe for more football updates.